Dienstages Dilemma-Tag. It's Kaiser here, and this month we are looking at dilemma combos that you can play using only Decipher era cards. Let's have a look. We are in the Delta Quadrant again, and as you can see, we're playing a non-aligned Hydrogen deck. If we look at the personnel we have in play, they are mission specialists that we probably seeded with assigned mission specialists. There is a Hydrogen we could have downloaded with assigned support personnel, an Alpha we've played for free, a Ocampa personnel that reported for free to Liberation. Belana could have been a free play with Home Away from Home on USS Equinox. One can be downloaded by the one mission. Eden could have been downloaded with a holodeck door, and there's another Alpha Hydrogen. So a setup that could well be possible on turn 2 or 3 in a speedy Delta Quadrant deck. So we are going to attempt Liberation, the Ocampa home planet, and there are 3 cards under it, and we'll just send down everyone. And we'll encounter one of the staple dilemmas in traditional format: female's love interest in Garbage Tower. A female crew or away team member random selection runs off with lava to furthest planet. We've only got one female here, that's Belana Taurus, and let's assume the furthest planet is somewhere over here. So she runs off, and the Garbage Cow is on the mission. It stops the attempt. If opponent has a mission debriefing out, which is well possible in traditional format, then this would stop the attempt here. So let's assume that stops us for a turn, and we don't even have to ferry new guys along because we still have an engineer on these 2 Hydrogen each. So the Equinox can then just pull the Garbage Cow over, fly back, and attempt again. And we encounter Hero Worship. Now this one I found rather strange. I've never seen it played against me, but I've stumbled across this combo while browsing old deck archives. And it's an interesting filter. It stops non-Borg crew or rating members with the most and fewest skill dot icons. So the fewest would be Ayala or Dr. Farrak, and the most is Tannis here with 5, also Karen, also Idrin, and also Eden. So what happens in the case of ties? And this is really good here. In case of ties, stops all tied personnel. So our 2 mission specialists and also these 4 skill monsters here are all stopped, leaving only 1 and Conoric to go on and encounter the final dilemma. And that is Linguistic Legerdemain. If you've never seen this one, this dilemma is seriously powerful. It doesn't kill anyone, it doesn't destroy any ship, but it can cost you a lot of time. What does it do? Unless anthropology and exobology present, so that is a wall dilemma here, it stops us. Anthropology and exobology is something we don't have, so this attempt is already stopped. That's not a big deal. But what happens next is X is 1 plus the number of affiliation icons on this mission with no matching personnel present. What does that mean? We have a countdown icon here in the upper left corner of the game text box, and it is X. X is always at least 1, but we have to add each affiliation icon that we find on the mission here, minus the ones that we have with us. So in this case, we don't have a Federation, countdown goes up by 1. We do have a non-aligned 1, but that doesn't matter, but we don't have a Kazon, so the countdown goes up by another 1. So we end up with a countdown of 3, and it is then placed on the mission, and for 3 turns now, we can't attempt it. It only counts down at the end of our opponent's turn, so our opponent can now play 3 turns on which we can't score the points from that mission. And if you can pull that one off at a mission where your opponent is likely to be stopped for 3 turns, that can be a deciding factor in the game. If you play OTF with virtual cards, you will find a lot of missions that even have 4 or 5 affiliation icons. In traditional format, you usually mostly run into a maximum of 3, but still they can be very good. Even in OTF, just look at some of the TOS decks with the 23rd century missions. Sometimes they have 5 different affiliation icons. It sometimes might make sense to not be greedy and seed linguistic at a 5 affiliation mission, but rather go for a 3-1 where opponent is less likely to expect it. But I think really the interesting card here is the Hero Worship, because that is rarely played. Often when you just want to filter out some guys, you run something like Jewel of the Chandra, or you find something that does a targeted kill, go for the anthropology or exobiology with something that gives you a choice people to be killed. In this case, of course, that could have been difficult because we have exobiology on these 2 Hierogen here, and anthropology on Eden, and also on Charon. So they had good chances of still having the skills, even if we can surgically remove one of the guys. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this one. If you like this show at all, please leave a comment or subscribe to this channel or give us the thumbs up, and I'll see you next week. Until then, bye bye.